Hello, this is Jason Anderson with my final post for the American Christian Foundation course. My research project was on the contribution of Roman Catholics in the American Revolution. First, in the paper that I did, I focused on the definition of the American Revolution being that time right after the French and Indian War, through that era of the taxes of Parliament, through the war itself, and then ultimately culminating in the writing of the Constitution, this revolution that was political, social, military, in some regards even religious in nature. So that's the backdrop of my project. And the contributions of Roman Catholics, American Roman Catholics, were profound. The more research I did, the more I found that they were involved not just on the surface, but they were deeply involved in some of the highest levels of confidence, correspondence, political actions, military, you name it. So I kind of broke down my research into three different components. So we're looking at the American Revolution and their contributions in the military, both the Army and the Navy, their contributions politically in the Continental Congress and in the state legislatures, and then, of course, their contributions as ministers of the sacraments, as priests and bishops themselves, administering to the very base level Catholics throughout the American colonies. And fascinating, absolutely fascinating. If we take a look at the contribution in the Army and the Navy, for example, certain individuals such as Colonel Stephen Moylan and John Fitzgerald were prime examples of Catholics being involved in some of these most intimate circles. They ended up being aide-de-camps to General Washington during the Revolution. Moylan ended up leading a corps of dragoons in 1778. Moylan was in the military until the end of Yorktown. Fitzgerald was wounded in 1778 at the Battle of Monmouth and ended up going back home. But he and Washington were very close to each other. Their letters, their writings really exemplified a personal friendship between the commander-in-chief and these two Irish Catholics, which was really, really neat to see. The Navy also, we see the Continental Congress giving great confidence in the Catholic Commodore Joshua Barney and John Barry, for example, who they give the responsibility of sending the peace negotiation to France and delivering it to the Continental Congress in 1783 at the end of the war, a Catholic doing these things. When we take a look at politics, the Carroll family, Daniel Carroll, Charles Carroll of Carrollton, and his cousin, Daniel's brother, John Carroll, who will be the Bishop John Carroll here, I'll mention in just a moment. But the Carroll brothers, Daniel Carroll and Charles Carroll, take active roles in Maryland politics, in the legislature of Maryland. Charles Carroll of Carrollton will be the only Catholic to sign the Declaration of Independence. Daniel Carroll will be a huge proponent of dividing up powers in the Constitutional Convention. Those that aren't officially delegated will go to the states. That's Daniel Carroll's idea. And then, of course, you've got the religious component of those priests that serve at the very base level, those Catholics that are spread all across the country, specifically in Pennsylvania, New York, and Maryland. And these priests that are administering to the Catholics across the country are doing it at great peril. There's still this overriding anti-Catholic sentiment throughout the country, everywhere. And one of the most fascinating things that I found in looking at several different versions of the Roman Missal, which is this large book that contains all of the prayers and the ritual for the Catholic Mass. From 1755 to 1793, I examined and analyzed 5 of these. Nothing changed. Roman Catholicism in America remained constant despite this political and social upheaval. Now, there's a lot more research to do. As I did this project, I realized that there are a lot of sermons that are out there that are archived but not made public. So that I already have my next project in line, more to research, more to come, and perhaps you'll have to pay attention. There might be a volume 2 of this work coming up. Great project, enjoyed it a great deal, learned a lot, and there's much, much, much more to learn. Thanks for paying attention.